Houston, good evening. We're here live at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston at the inaugural flight of the Ethiopian Airlines, flying directly from Houston to Africa. Their first flight actually was from yesterday, Monday, the 16th, from Africa directly to Houston. Naturally, they fly from Washington, D.C. or New York, thereabout. But now they have a direct flight from Houston to Africa. Their first stop is Addis and Lome, and then all the way, and they're trying to do what we call a flight to Africa. They're connecting at Ethiopia to Nigeria. So we're here to interview a lot of people. It was a major event. The Houston Mayor, Sylvester Turner, gave them the key to the city already. And so he's dedicating this day, December 17th, a Tuesday, the Ethiopian Airlines Day in Houston. So join us as we interview some of the attendees. Join us.
Elected Mayor Sylvester Turner.
Look, let me start off by thanking Mario Diaz for the leadership that he's bringing to the Houston airport system. Please give it up to Mario Diaz. Let me also give greetings to our distinguished guests who played an integral part in reconnecting Houston to the second largest continent on the planet. I can't tell you how excited I am about being with everyone this evening. To the Ethiopian Airlines CEO, Mr. Tuwalda Gebremarian, to the U.S. Ambassador to Ethiopia, His Excellency Michael Rayner, to the Ethiopian Ambassador to the United States, the Honorable Fitzu Arage, and to the Honorable Consul General of Ethiopia, the Honorable Gessenjin Gabede. I want to thank all of them for their presence, and of course again to Mario Diaz. Give it up to all of our special guests. Also want to acknowledge Brenda Bazan, again, the President and CEO of Houston First, and Bob Harvey, the President of the Greater Houston Partnership. Please give it up to these individuals. And as I listened to Mario, when he said that the first person to get off the plane on yesterday, let me give a special acknowledgement to Saba. You know, look, all of these individuals have worked very hard for nearly a decade to connect Houston directly to Africa again. And thank you to each and every one of you, and a big Houston welcome to Ethiopian Airlines. The fabric of our city, who we are, is beautifully diverse, woven with threads of Hispanic, Asian, Indian, and African culture, and so many more. More than 145 languages are spoken in our city, and today is a celebration of that diversity, specifically for our African community. And as you may know, Houston is home to the nation's largest Nigerian community right here in this city. And for the past few years, we've celebrated Nigerian pride throughout our city with a parade and festival. We dance, we cheer, and like true Houstonians, we eat and we eat well. But most importantly for us, is that we connect that diversity all over the globe. Houston's African cuisine is among the best in the nation, and I can personally attest to that. And our local African restaurant scene is thriving, expanding, therefore exposing more and more Houstonians to the rich and delicious dishes of Africa. And today, Ethiopian Airlines' new direct flight from Houston will not only connect our African brothers and sisters to their loved ones and businesses, but it will also help us deepen our connection to a more beautifully diverse world. Our door is now wide open, and so is Africa. And I will tell you, as an African American and the mayor of the city of Houston, I could not be more proud of this particular day. And I hope that this new open door gets us closer to our goal of getting a Nigerian consulate right here in Houston as well. This new air service also marks the start of a fruitful partnership that will also strengthen business ties between Houston and Africa. Our business community will now be positioned for even global success in all 6 inhabited continents of the world. And as you may know, Houston has the most Fortune 500 companies outside of New York City. And Houston is also home to numerous multinational corporations, including some of the world's largest energy companies that support extensive global operations in West Africa. They now have direct access to Africa, a key global market for any serious trade partner. Businesses will save time, money, and resources that will allow them to add more jobs to Houston and therefore generate a sizable contribution to our economy. This new route alone will also inject hundreds of millions of dollars to our local economy every single year. Houston's dynamic economy will be a shining example for the rest of the nation. Lastly, Houston is a reflection of the world we know and love. Connecting Houston with the rest of the world in this way will only make us stronger, better, and more vibrant. And at this time, let me call up Mr. Tawada Gabriel Marion to the stage. Mr. CEO, if you will come and join me. Mr. CEO, I have something special for you. Now this is a huge proclamation. And you know in Houston, you know what we say about Houston, you either go big or you go home. And today, Mr. CEO, this is a special proclamation that I want to present to you. And essentially what it says is, therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim this day as Ethiopian Airlines Day in the City of Houston. We are so glad that this connection has been made. And I have one more thing for you, Mr. CEO. Now you brought the airline to the City of Houston. I'm going to give you this Stetson hat, and then I couldn't bring the horse to go along with it, you know, but I'm going to give you this cowboy hat. You got to add the boots and the belt and all of that to go right along with you. And then I look forward to boarding Ethiopian Airlines as we go from Houston to Ethiopia and back again. I can't tell you how much I'm so proud of what is taking place in the city of Houston. Thank you so much. Look pretty good in that.
Good evening. Good evening. Honorable Mayor, Excellency Ambassador Michael Maynard, Excellency Ambassador Futsun, Excellency Honorable Council Ato Rizal, distinguished guests, executives of the City of Mayor, the City of Houston, It's a pleasure to stand before you this evening to celebrate our first flight to Houston. It's an important day in the history of Ethiopian Airlines. First, that we are celebrating the first flight to Houston. At the same time, we are also celebrating opening 2 stations in 1 week. So tomorrow I will be traveling to Athens to reopen our first flight in Athens. And this shows you how fast Ethiopian Airlines is growing. Ethiopian Airlines has been growing very, very fast. It is one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing airline in the world in the last 1 decade. As a result of that fast growth, today we are operating 130 airplanes to more than 127 international destinations, Houston included. We operate one of the youngest fleet in the industry with less carbon emission. Most of our airplanes are modern airplanes, the 787, Airbus A350, 737, and they save about 20 to 25% carbon emission. And the airline is a green airline, and we also have a program of planting a tree for every passenger that we carry. As the largest airline in Africa, we connect the continent with more than 60 important training centers in the world. And even in the continent, we have 60 destinations. So we claim that we have successfully implemented our long-time motto of bringing Africa together and closer to the world. Ethiopian Airlines is doing the lion's share in integrating Africa. For the last 70 years, it has been connecting the continent with and with the rest of the world. Houston is our 5th destination in North America, in addition to Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, and Toronto, and the 4th in the United States. We have been planning and preparing to fly to Houston for a relatively long time. And let me also acknowledge and thank the contribution of Houston Airport, who have been working with us for a long period of time to see this day and to see Ethiopian Airlines airplane in Houston Airport. Mr. Mario Diaz, a very important partner and a very important supporter of Ethiopian Airlines, has always been with us. In fact, he didn't mention this evening, but he has been coming to Addis so many times that he called it a pilgrimage. And finally, he told us that this pilgrimage has to stop. And although he will not be coming to Addis to convince us, but he will keep on coming to Addis to partner with us and visit us. Another important person is Sarah, who has really worked very hard to convince us to fly to Houston. And yesterday when she was coming from the aircraft, of course she was the first person to play from the aircraft, and she told us that she went to Addis to bring the aircraft so that we don't make wrong destinations. So that we don't take the airplane maybe to another city. So I take this opportunity to thank Houston Airport for working very hard to bring us here and for the warm welcome that we have been receiving since yesterday night, and for all the partnership and cooperation and support. I also take the opportunity to thank the City of Houston, Honorable Mayor and the team for all your support. Thank you very much. This flight is a very important flight, connecting Houston with Africa. But we are not connecting Houston with one point in Africa, but with 2 points in Africa. Africa is a huge continent, a huge landmass. So from east to west is more than 8 hours flight, from Djibouti to Dakar. That's why we are expanding our hub from Addis to West Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, and Eastern Africa. So the flight is coming from Addis via Lomé, Togo, our second hub in West Africa, to Houston. So passengers in West Africa do not have to travel back to East Africa to catch us in Addis, but they can connect us in Lomé, Togo. So the West African connection will be in Lomé, and it will be the only direct flight between Houston and Lomé. The same with Addis, connecting to East, Central, and Southern Africa, Asia, and Middle East. So Houston, as of yesterday, is now connected with our vast network of 127 destinations. So it's not only Africa, but Asia and Middle East. We fly as far as Indonesia and Asia, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and so on. So passengers traveling to Asia for business or leisure can take this flight, and still it will be the shortest and the fastest travel time. The continent of Africa is growing very, very fast. Investment is growing, tourism is growing. So I invite all of you to make a reservation and visit Mother Africa and Mother Ethiopia. Africa is underdeveloped, but underdevelopment is an opportunity for development. So investment, trade, and tourism is growing very fast, and Africa is now a destination for foreign direct investment, and I encourage American investors, US investors, tourists, traders, business people to take their right position in Africa before it's too late, because everybody now is focusing in Africa. The connection out of Houston is designed in such a way that it is the fastest and the shortest distance to most African destinations. The departure from here is in the evening, and the arrival in Addis is the next evening, the next day, and the arrival in Lomé is again around midday, connecting to almost all African destinations with 1 or 2 hours connectivity, both in Lomé and in Addis. And this flight is going to save customers traveling via Europe, long distance. So it's going to cut travel between Houston in Africa by 4 or 5 hours, if not more. So once again, I invite you to take the opportunity and take the flight and visit Africa. My colleagues, Mr. Nusu, the director in Washington, D.C., and Sasaulish here in Houston, will be very happy to serve you and get you seats, because the flights are full. So
got it right?
That's right.
Awesome.
You
So
said
what do
it.
you think about the event?
It's a great event, actually. I am the regional manager of Ethiopian Airlines here in Houston. So,
Imagine that. Where have you been? Then we need to do something about this airline. It needs to go to Nigeria. What do you
definitely, definitely. We've been working on that for quite a while, and we expect to fly to the Nigerian city, Lagos, very soon.
Well, everybody think Lagos is Nigeria, but there's Abuja and there's Port Harcourt. Those are routes we can work on, right? So, but I'm super excited about this right here, to an extent that I bought my return ticket from Nigeria, but I have not bought my leg back to Nigeria. So I'll be leaving on Christmas Day. So tonight or tomorrow, since the inaugural flight was yesterday, I may have to do that. But can you give us what this means to Ethiopia and to Houston?
First, if I may start with explaining what Nigeria means to Ethiopian Airlines.
Awesome.
We have different destinations like Enugu, as you know. And we have different ones, and Nigeria is actually the second home of ours, next to Ethiopia, I would rather say. So we're quite excited, but with this network that we have currently, since we're flying out of Houston direct to Lome to use our hub in Lome for our connectivity through the entire network of the Western Africa, we'll have a great opportunity to connect to cities like Abuja, Lagos, even Port Harcourt, even Freetown, and the other actually untouched cities with our original network.
That's awesome. So what does this say about, what does this event tonight, the inaugural flight yesterday that launched from Houston, what does it say about Ethiopia and Houston?
Actually, for Ethiopia and Houston, since this is the only flight that would connect Houston to the western part of Africa and Africa in general, it means so much to even the Houston city itself. We're bringing this flight in and making Houston connect to the 6 continents in the world. So Houston is going to stay connected to the 6 continents with a direct flight. So you can tell what it means to the city of Houston.
So city of Houston has the largest number of Nigerians.
That's right.
Nigerians in the United States, right? And also, a lot of Nigerians are used to United, who is a part of Star Alliance. And Ethiopian Airlines happens to be one of the Star Alliance partners, right? So I think this collaboration is a huge one. And how does it feel to have a day like this dedicated to Ethiopian Airlines that's in Houston? The mayor of Houston just dedicated today as a day in Houston for Ethiopian Airlines. What does that say to it?
Ethiopian has been in the service for quite a while. And actually, we're really known for our service. It means so much for us, actually, for a day to be declared as Ethiopian Airlines' Day. But apparently, we're also well known with our service. We welcome our passengers like any of the other airlines in the market. So it means a lot to us to come in to Houston to serve our customers, and we would expect actually more to come.
So let's quickly talk about the economics, right? So this is going to improve the GDP of Houston and Ethiopia, and also create more employment, right? Can you just touch a little bit about that?
Air connectivity is vital for a country's growth. The country's economic growth happens to be, from different things within it. So air connectivity is one. So it creates a great opportunity. For instance, if we take today, with our flight that just came in yesterday, we have more than 80 passengers just to visit Houston. They're going to stay in Houston for 5 days, take a tour, and go back. They're going to spend here. It's going to contribute to the country's economy.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm here with the country manager for Nigeria. I see you, first of all, you're wearing Ankara. Yes. That's fashionable. Yes. That tells me already that you're part Ethiopian, part Nigerian.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Can you please tell our viewers your name and what you do for Ethiopian Airlines?
Okay, my name is Frahiwat Makonne. I'm the country manager for Nigeria. So basically, I'm in charge of all the operation in Nigeria. So we have like four different operations in Nigeria. Like we fly to Lagos, Abuja, Kano. Now Enugu is closed for the renovation, so we're flying to Port Harcourt. So we fly to 4 destinations, and I'm in charge of all the operations.
So Lagos is not part of those 4?
No, Lagos is part of the 4.
Direct flight. Oh, from
Yes.
okay, yeah. So from Houston to
No.
Okay, from Lagos.
No, this one is a different one. Normally, these 4 flights that I just mentioned is directly to Addis, and from Addis to all over the world. Okay. So 4 of them are independent flights, but this one, the one that we just inaugurated today.
Yeah.
So our Nigerian passengers are going to connect through Lome, which is going to be another flight. So we have a partner airline, which is called Askai.
Askai Airlines.
Yes. So from Lagos to Togo, which is Lome, they will fly with Askai. It's just 30 minutes flight, and then they will connect the Houston flight.
Okay, but Askai is not a part of Star Alliance.
It's not a part of Star Alliance, but we are partners with Askai, and then we do all the management, like the operation, the technicians, and everything.
So what does this say? What does this say for Ethiopia and Ethiopia Airlines? This that just happened today. It feels like there's a change, a sudden change in the economy already. It's just something people are feeling from the vibe I'm getting, right? The Houston mayor is so super excited and is charged up to an extent that he named today
Ethiopian Airlines Day.
Right.
Yes,
So
exactly.
what does that mean for Ethiopia?
Okay, first of all, we are very much grateful, and we would like to thank you, the Houston Mayor Office, the Houston Airport, the whole of Houston State. So as much as he's delighted and happy, we are really very much happy to make this come true, because we have been looking for this route for a very long time. Somehow it is very challenging, but now it happened, and as you can see, everybody's happy.
Right.
Now we can connect the Western and Central Africa through Lome and then the whole of our systems. So it's a very big deal for us, and it's one of our milestones for Ethiopian Airlines.
Awesome. Does it mean this flight is going to cover the whole of Southern America?
This one is from Houston.
Just Houston. So
Yes,
people from
Houston.
Chicago still have their flight connecting elsewhere from Chicago.
Yes.
I know
Yeah,
you
they
fly
can-
out of DC.
Yes, we
Right.
fly from DC, we fly from Houston, we fly from Newark and JFK, and then we have Chicago. So all of the 40 flights are independent flights. So this is just a fourth one.
So what should Africans in Houston be expecting of this flight?
So Africans, the whole Africans should expect it's a best connection and the shortest connection, because most Western and Central Africa, majorly, used to fly via Europe or somewhere,
Right,
and
right.
it used to be a very long connection. Now it's a very shortest connection with the most modern aircraft. So I invite, just like my CEO said, I will invite all Nigerians, all Africans to test this route. It's a very good one.
And Afrocentric will be here to work with you to make sure Nigerians and Africans in the Houston area come to support. We are excited for you guys,
Thank you
and
very
we are
much.
looking forward to working with you guys
Thank you
to make
very
this a
much.
huge success.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So, joining us today is, what's your name?
Azeb Yusuf.
Miss Yusu, what do you think about the event tonight, about the Ethiopian airline coming to Houston, flying directly to Houston?
I believe it's a really great opportunity for all Houstonians and all Africans here in Houston. We are very excited, and we want to show the hospitality of Africa in general. And we are very excited to be a partner with Lome, which is Togo. And hopefully we'll have a good journey together. And I want to take you guys all with me. I wish I could fly every day.
Tell us your name first.
My name is Posto Ganame. I'm the president of Texas West Africa Chamber of Commerce. So basically, this is a history. We are here to witness one of the best history of we as African diaspora here in the United States. We are proud to have a direct flight from African airline to Africa, especially to Western Africa,
Right.
and in Togo, which is connected to Burkina, where I'm from. And it's beautiful. And I'm proud to be part of the history making, and we look forward to traveling with this airline to anywhere in Africa. And hopefully, within the months coming up, we will have Nigeria Airlines flying from Houston to Lagos.
To one of our friends who happens to be the president of
the Ivorian community in Houston.
Ivorian community. Tell your people, the Ivorians, that we are one Africa.
Of course.
We need them to join us at Afrocentric.
We are.
But anyway, so what is your take on this whole event, this inaugural event tonight?
No, this is great, and we're really proud that an African company, Ethiopian Airlines, is coming here and going to be flying from Houston to West Africa, to Lomé. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to connect to all the different West African countries. We don't have to go to Europe anymore. We can catch a flight directly from Houston to our motherland and to our home countries. This is great. So this is a really happy day, not only for Ethiopian Airlines, but for the whole West African country community that's here in Houston, which is huge. So we're really proud and happy.
Awesome.
If not the best African airlines company, and the service is always great. The report that we get from this company are always excellent. So we're proud that they're the one that we're going to be using now to go home.
Awesome. Well, thank you right here, and we're here to talk about the event tonight, the inaugural flight of the Ethiopian Airline to Houston, flying directly from. What does that say for the economy, for Houston and for Ethiopia?
Yeah, I think what it says is, first of all, Houston being the fourth, now third largest city in the country, it says quite a bit to be able to have a city like Houston be able to have direct flights into Africa, right? But the other thing is that for African travel, this is the place we've struggled as a continent, being able to fly from country to country, city to city in Africa. It becomes a very expensive flight. Do you know how much it costs, for example, to fly from Nairobi to Accra? It's about $600 to fly. It's way more expensive than that. So we hope what Ethiopian Airlines is doing here, it gives us that stage to be able to have cheaper flights going from between African cities and from the U.S., especially Houston, into Africa.
And today, the mayor dedicated today as the Ethiopian Airlines Day. What does that say?
Yeah, well, it says first, we have a very progressive mayor who understands the power of Africa. So we are glad that he got re-elected. We think this mayor is the best mayor in the entire country to be able to advocate for Africans. So that's huge for him to do that. So be able to have that. Plus he has Africa Day. Africa Day is in July. To be able to do that. So So he is very progressive on things around Africa. So we really appreciate him for everything that he's doing, and we hope to be able to continue to go on that particular path. Yeah.
Welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television, channel 15.8. As we say, this is the station that brings about the Africans in diaspora and what we do. Because we're here in Houston, we will be talking about much more of Houston and the things that we do around here. This is an election season. We need y'all to get out and vote. And I will never underemphasize that. We need to get out and vote. That is your civic duty. That is your power, the power you possess to determine who is going to be out there to make, policies that will affect your businesses, that will affect your district, that will affect your children and the future of our generations, So, but the other big thing that happened in Houston this week is that, should I? Oh, of course, yes, that's why I'm here. Ethiopian Airlines launched their direct flight from Houston to Africa. You can't miss that. Ethiopian Airlines, oh my goodness. I was there, the mayor was there to give them that day, that was December the 17th, the Ethiopian Airlines Day in Houston. It was a big event. It was a whole lot of Africans came out to support this movement.
But there's still a little difficulty getting the direct flight from from Houston, of course, to Lagos and back. But we're working on it. We're trying to see how we can make things work smoothly. Especially, we have the highest number of Nigerians here in Houston. So it's about time we have a direct flight. United did it before. Unfortunately, you can still claim your United miles on it because they are part of Star Alliance. So that's the beauty of it. But it goes straight to Lomé to Lagos. And Lomé can connect you if you're from Ivory Coast to Burkina Faso to Lomé, from Lomé directly from Houston to Lomé, then Lomé connects you to Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Lagos, all the routes that you may ever think of. And the layover is just for a short time, less than an hour or maybe an hour. I already procured my ticket. I am going to Nigeria for sure, and I will return, of course, on Ethiopian Airlines. I just love anything African. That's why we're Afrocentric. It is what we do. We support one another. We help make your statements come to reality. Well, until next time, I remain your host, Kola Akinmuyiwa. And before you go, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Afrocentric Television. And Afrocentric is with a K at the end. And on our Instagram and Facebook, we have our social media handle as Afrocentric TV. Until next time, stay out of trouble. Kola.